Hello guys, welcome to the Have Lab today. My name is Babatunde Arolo, and today we're going to be talking about power rules with positive exponents, right? And we're going to be dealing with multivariate quotients, basically. Okay, so what this means is we're going to be dealing with equations that has exponents. Okay, so and what exponents basically means are powers. Okay, so let's say we're dealing with let me give an example like 5 to the power 2. Okay, this 2 is called an exponent, okay, because it's the power that we're going to be dealing with, right? So whenever you see something like this, or whenever you see exponents, just know we're going to be dealing with powers, okay? And the specific rules attached to all these to all these kind of equations. Okay, and when we're simplifying them, we need to apply these rules. Okay, for example, say we have let's look at this question. This question, I'm going to use this question to kind of go through this. So it's 5b over a to the power 3 raised to the power 3, right? Okay, so what the first step that I want to do in this kind of situation is I want to treat each number or each variable like they're separate. Okay, I want to treat them separately. I don't want them to be kind of jump out. But you can do that if you want to, if you feel it's comfortable for you. But I want to separate the numbers, the and the letters too. Yes, I want to separate I want to separate every one of them so I can work on each one of them on their own. Okay. Okay. So what I mean by separating them is basically saying instead of 5b, let's look at this. This is 5b. I'll say 5 times b. Okay, because 5 times b is the same thing as 5b. But in this case, I'm treating them separately. Okay, and this is over aq. Okay, because there's no number or letter attached to a. So we're good there. And this is all raised to the power of 3, right? Okay, so the next step here is I want to work on each one of these numbers of variables as their own. Okay, so if you notice, we have we have this simplification inside out this equation um inside this power raised to the power 3. Okay, so this equation here, this 5 times b over a cubed is raised to the power 3. Okay, so whenever you have an equation like that, so let's say we have 6 squared, right, and this is raised to the power 2 again. Okay, this is basically saying 6 times 6, because this 6 squared is basically saying we're going to multiply 6 twice, and then also a power of 2, which is this one. Okay, so this is the same thing as 36 to the power of 2. And when we get 36 to the power of 2, that equals 1296. Okay, so a simpler approach on doing all this, instead of saying 6 times 6 in here and then just doing squared of whatever that is, a simpler approach is by just multiplying the powers. Okay, so because we are aware that there's a power inside of another power. Okay, so this square here is inside of this 2 outside. Okay, so we can just say 6 to the power 2 times 2. Okay, and 2 times 2 equals what? 4, right? So it's basically saying 6 to the power of 4. Okay, so we're going to use that in this question. Okay, and if you look at this question, it's the same, is basically the same concept that I just explained. Okay, so when you see a power inside of another power, all you do is multiply those two powers by each other. Because so in this case, all these ones that are here, they have powers. Okay, even though they didn't write the power of 5 here, we know that as long as they don't write anything, the power is here is a 1. Okay, and here also is going to be a 1. Okay, but they wrote a 3 here, so this is cool. So whenever I see any number with itself or anything, like if you see 7, like any number or any letter or C or something, right? As long as it doesn't have an exponent, it's raised to the power 1. Okay, so C to the power 1 is the same thing as C. Okay, so this 5 and B is the same thing as 5 to the power 1 times B to the power 1. Okay, so we treat each one of them separately. Okay, so we come over here and say 5 to the power 1 times 3. Okay, so I'm multiplying 3 by each of the numbers and the letters in this case, times b to the power 1 times 3 again. divided by a to the power 3 times 3. Okay, so based on that, all we have to do is multiply the powers. So we have 5 to the power 3 times b to the power 3, because 1 times 3 equals a 3. 1 times 3 also equals a 3, divided by a to the power 9. Okay, all right, so we got that already. But if you notice, we have 5 here to the power 3. Okay, we can also do something with this 5 to the power 3. We can actually put it in its actual form. We can say, since 5 to the power 3, this basically tells us to multiply 5 3 times. Okay, so this is the same thing as 5 times 5 times 5, which is equals to 5 times 5 is 25, right? And 25 times 5 equals what? 125. So this equals 125. So 5 raised to the power of 3 equals 125, right? But the thing is, we can't do it for b and a. The same thing we did here, because b and a's are letters. We don't know what they are actually. Okay, so if we knew what they were, that's when we can do work with this. But in this case, we don't know what they are. So we can only stop over here. We can only work with 5, because we know that the number here is 5. Okay, so we know 5 to the power 3 is 125. So we replace that with 125, then times b cubed. Okay, so since we don't do anything, we multiply 5 cubed times b cubed. So now we can bring them to 125 times b cubed, which is equals to 125b cubed divided by a to the power 9. Okay, so let me put that in. 125b cubed a to the power 9. Check. All right, so let's work with another example to test our knowledge. Feel free to pause the video if you like, to just test yourself how well you do, but I'm still going to solve the question. Okay, so remember, the first thing I said is I want to treat each one of them like they're separate. So I want to separate everything inside the parentheses first. Okay, so this is saying this is b to the power 4 over, so right now I'm separating it. Okay, so this is minus 2 and a to the power 3, so I separate these two. This is minus 2 times a to the power 3, then everything raised to the power 4. So next step is, remember, since all these are exponents inside another exponent, right, I have to multiply the outside exponent by everything inside. Okay, so when I do that, that is basically saying b to the power 4 times 4. Okay, because this 4 is outside, so I'm going to use this 4 to multiply every exponent inside. Okay, and then divided by minus 2 to the power 1, because remember, there's no power attached to minus 2. Okay, the only power that's attached here is to a cubed, not to minus 2. Okay, so this is basically saying a cubed, not minus 2. Okay, so only a cubed is attached here. Okay, so this becomes a cubed, this becomes a cubed, and then minus 2 raised to the power 1 times 4 times a to the power 3 times 4. Okay, and then this is done, and then next we have to multiply the powers. Okay, so when we multiply 4 times 4, that gives us 16, right? So this is b to the power 16 divided by minus 2 to the power 1 times 4, that's a 4, right? So it becomes minus 2 to the power 4 times a to the power 12. Okay, so now what we have to do is, the next step is we have to simplify this minus 2 to the power 4. We have to make that an actual number, right? Because we can't do that for b or a, because we don't know what b or a are. They are not numbers. The only number here is minus 2, and that is raised to the power 4. Okay, and we know we can do something with minus 2, but we can't do anything with a or b here. Can't say a times a times a to the power 12. Right, but we can say minus 2 times minus 2 times minus 2 times minus 2 4 times, because it's going to get us somewhere. Okay, so this is minus 2. Minus 2 to the power 4 is basically saying we're going to multiply minus 2 by itself 4 times. This is minus 2 times minus 2 times minus 2 times minus 2. So minus 2 times minus 2, you know, minus times a minus, that gives us a plus. And the 2 times 2 equals a 4, right? So this is a 4. So next step is we'll multiply this plus 4 times this minus 2. So plus 4 times minus 2. Plus times a minus equals what? A minus, right? 4 times 2 equals what? An 8. So that's here. And so next step is we multiply this minus 8 times minus 2. Minus times minus equals a plus, right? That's a plus. And 8 times 2 equals a 16. That's a 16. So we know minus 2 to the power 4 equals to plus 16, right? So this equals b to the power 16 over 16, because positive 16 is same thing as 16, right? Times a to the power 12. Okay, so now we've simplified it. Okay, so all we have to do is just combine every one of them. Combine what we separated at first. This is b to the power 16 over 16 times a to the power 12 is 16a 12. Okay, so yeah, we're done with that. Let me put it in real quick. B to the power 16 divided by 16a to the power 12. Yeah, okay. So let me just do a quick recap on this. Basically, what you want to do first to avoid confusion, you want to separate each one of the variables or the numbers inside the parentheses, right? So when you're done with that, the next thing is you're going to ask yourself, what is the number outside? What is the number holding the rest of the parentheses? Okay, so in this case, the number holding the parentheses were 4, right? And we use that number to multiply all the exponents or the powers inside the parentheses. Okay, and so when we did that, we kind of simplified everything and got away from there. Okay, so thank you very much for watching the video, and I really hope they helped you out. Have a beautiful day ahead. Bye.